I feel really hopeful in this room, and I feel like we just need to keep fighting and speaking up and protesting. And yeah, it's just really hard to know what to say and what to do right now. And it's illegal on stolen land.
Designer on stage. Is he
Tap.
fucking retard?
The stolen land argument, celebrity protests, and the logic gap. Welcome back, everybody. Just another tech phantom here, signing on to another episode of phantomtec Reports. All right, today we're stepping slightly outside pure silicon and GP us for a second, but stay with me, because this one still smells exactly like tech culture. Not drivers, not Windows updates, not BIOS flashing at 3 a.m. Nope. Today, we're debugging logic, because sometimes the loudest takes on the internet aren't arguments. They're just error messages with a microphone. And if you've ever watched someone passionately yell a slogan like it's patch notes for reality, you already know what I'm talking about. So grab a coffee, maybe lower your blood pressure a notch, because we're about to walk through one of the most chaotic debates floating around right now. The whole no one is illegal on stolen land thing. And why, when you actually press or test it, the logic crashes harder than Windows Vista on a 512 megabyte netbook. The slogan that sounds deep until you think for 5 seconds. Here's the thing. On the surface, it sounds powerful. It sounds righteous. It sounds like one of those lines that gets applause in a stadium or at an awards show. But slogans are like RGB lighting. They look impressive until you realize they're not actually improving performance. Because once you treat the land is stolen as a universal justification for everything, you don't just open a door. You remove the hinges. If all land is stolen, then ownership doesn't exist. If ownership doesn't exist, then law doesn't exist. If law doesn't exist, congratulations, you didn't invent justice. You invented chaos mode. That's not morality. That's anarchy with a Wi-Fi connection. You can't say this system is invalid and then still expect the system to protect you. That's like uninstalling your antivirus and then being shocked when ransomware shows up. Rewinding history forever is a logical death spiral. So let's zoom out for a second. History is messy. Colonization happened. Wars happened. Terrible stuff happened. Nobody sane denies that. But here's the uncomfortable truth people don't like saying out loud. If you keep rewinding the clock far enough, everyone is guilty. Every civilization conquered something. Every border was drawn with conflict. Every piece of land changed hands multiple times. If we go back 100 years, someone complains. Go back 500, someone else complains. Go back 5,000, congratulations. Now you're arguing with cavemen over who parked their mammoth in the wrong spot. At what point do we stop? Because if we never stop, there is no society. There is only permanent revenge DLC. Civilization literally requires a checkpoint. A moment where humanity says, okay, this is where we are now. Let's build forward instead of stabbing backward forever. Otherwise, we're not progressing. We're just rage quitting history on loop. The selective outrage problem. Now here's where it gets extra spicy, because the same people yelling today weren't yelling yesterday, and that's what really fries people's brains. When policies were happening quietly and efficiently before, nobody protested. No riots, no screaming, no viral outrage clips. Then suddenly a different administration, same category of actions, and now it's apocalypse mode. So what changed, the policies or the optics? Because if your outrage only activates when your team isn't in charge, that's not principles. That's sports fandom. That's my console is better than yours energy. Politics shouldn't be treated like PlayStation versus Xbox. But sometimes it absolutely looks like it, and it makes the whole conversation feel fake. Celebrity activism, the Grammys effect. Then we get the weirdest layer, celebrity grandstanding. The classic, if I was a billionaire, I'd donate everything. Cool, you're not. So what are you donating now? Because it's real easy to promise money you don't have. I can promise to give away $1 billion too. Cost me exactly $0 to say it. It's like saying if I had an RTX 6090, I'd give one to everyone. Yeah, mate. Hypothetical generosity is free. Actual generosity costs something. And that's the difference between virtue signaling and virtue doing. Standing on stage, yelling slogans to people who already agree with you, that's not action. That's karaoke activism. All vibes, no results. Meanwhile, the people with actual influence just clap and go home. It's theater. And theater doesn't fix real-world problems. The tech parallel, because you know we gotta bring it home. Let's bring this back to phantomtec territory. Imagine building a PC like this. You throw away the motherboard because the industry is corrupt. You remove the PSU because power structures are oppressive. You smash the case because ownership is theft. Then you wonder why nothing boots. Mate, you deleted the system. That's what these arguments sound like. You can criticize flaws without nuking the entire framework. We upgrade, we patch, we improve. We don't set the whole rig on fire and call it progress. Society works the same way. Fix what's broken. Don't pretend the concept of structure itself is evil, because without structure, the loudest and strongest win. And trust me, that's not justice. That's just PvP mode permanently enabled. Reality check. Look, bad things happened historically, that's undeniable, but we can't build a future by permanently litigating the past like it's a courtroom drama that never ends. We can acknowledge injustice without pretending modern law has zero legitimacy. We can help people without pretending ownership is imaginary. We can advocate for change without screaming slogans that collapse under basic logic. Otherwise, we're just yelling into microphones while nothing actually improves. And honestly, that's exhausting. And we gotta wrap this shit up. So next time you hear a super dramatic one-liner that sounds revolutionary, pause. Pressure test it. Ask yourself, does this actually solve something? Or does it just sound cool on TikTok? Because truth usually survives logic. Catchphrases usually don't. And around here at phantomtec, we troubleshoot everything, even arguments, especially arguments. Because misinformation isn't just a tech problem, it's a thinking problem. And we don't ship broken firmware on this channel. If you enjoyed this little logic debug session and want more grounded, no BS breakdowns like this, you already know what to do. Smash that like button, sub to phantomtec, and keep the brain cells overclocked. Well, peeps, I'm just another tech phantom signing off from phantomtec, so thanks for joining us. And peace.
I can't. Yo, who was protesting when Obama was fucking deporting motherfuckers left and right? Who the fuck? Where were people at?